talk about it next season. Holy smokes! So just for y'all peace of mind, right? We're not asking for anything big here. We're not asking for jerseys, apparently, that we're gonna start introducing now, conveniently. We're not asking for, moving mountains. We're not asking for a trip to Ibiza. All I was saying is, y'all, and to the viewers for further context, your boy Young, CJ Young, won the leaderboard last season in terms of predictions of results. And I still haven't gotten my prize, by the way, people, but it's okay. Justice will be served soon because they thought I forgot, right? So we are approaching a new season, and conveniently, the guys want to now discuss what happens at the end of next season, right? And who gets what prize at the end of next season. Forgetting that we just had a season that just passed, and I won, and I didn't get compensated yet.
But
Therefore, I have discussed with the gents that I will be receiving my prize, hopefully relatively soon. I put an offer on the table of what I'd like my prize to be. It's relatively cheap, it's relatively affordable, nothing crazy. Let's see if they oblige. If not, I will choose another prize that I would like to receive, but I will get my prize because, I won. So that's what we're discussing, ladies and gents.
yo, Laurent.
Yeah, man. It's glad to be back here, Merdad. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just just waiting to hit the famous line and get started. I don't know what the other riffraff comments were, but it's not a problem.
Sore
Yeah.
Yeah,
losing this, bro. Like
yeah, I
like
know.
Luis Enrique out here. Holy.
Um, back again. Back again. Shit. We're getting close to 50. Ep-
5-0.
I know,
Let's
it's
get it.
episode 34. Um, one
And
more
still no
week of
prize. What?
what? Still no prize, yeah.
What?
Justice will be served, people.
Oh shit.
Rashford celebration.
Sure.
Justice.
One more week of one pod per week, and then we're gonna ramp it up to twice. Actually, this is the last week of once per week, because next week is the Premier League season. So, for listeners, viewers, get ready. Content's gonna be coming in. Content's gonna be coming fast your way. Um, yeah, as always, joined by my co-hosts, my brethren, my
Yo.
Caravana family.
Wow.
They're
Jeez,
the
bro. Bro. Stop pretending like you were out there this weekend, bro.
bro
I was not out there. I tell you that much.
the two salty mans from McLaughlin College that couldn't win anything.
Ha.
Laurent Piana
Yo.
and CJ Young. You
Yo,
know,
everyone's coming on smoke this pod. I rate it. Brand
you
said
know.
still no prize. I said still no jersey for you, but that's calm. It is what it is. Um,
Still no torch.
listen, bro. McLaughlin, we bowed out with a dub in my last year. That's all I have to say. All right. I told y'all we were winning tier one futsal. We beat two, I think two of your teams. One of your veteran teams, and your other team that the Darlings. They're like the Liverpool of intramurals. What were they called? Monstars? The ones that
Oh shit.
you
Yo,
guys
that
did.
name
Yeah,
brings
bro.
back
The ones that
memories.
y'all rigged every championship that they probably won, but it is what it is. Um, but yeah, man, don't worry. Throw the
Oh
McLaughlin,
shit, yo, the blanket made a return.
bro. It's
Yeah, yeah.
freaking positive 39 degrees. Like, why are you still that blanket?
Yeah, I keep telling y'all that it's cool that on this side of town. But you guys,
Like
Cole
Cole Palmer,
Palmer.
cool or Jinx?
wow. Nah, twinning. Like Sky, bro. Like, Jinx, really, bro? Like, what is this?
Oh fuck.
Jinx, you owe me a soda on top of the meal you owe me as well next week.
Sorry,
Yo,
there's some static. I didn't hear what you said. Sorry, Lauren. Were you saying something?
No, no, no. But all I know is someone's trying to get free food, bro. Like, get the whole meals paid for. What's
meal plan, bro. But shout out York. Shout out. If you know, you know, bro. The meal plans, free meals.
Damn, I will not say much more. I am I'm keeping my mouth quiet on that. But
Plead the fifth. Plead
yeah,
the fifth in Canada.
Yo, can I say real quick? Since we're talking about Caravana, shout out to my boy Carlisle. who I did see on the Lakeshore Strip last weekend at the parade, and he gave us a shout out. He says, "Yo, he recognized me, came up to me. He says, "Yo, you already know I'm one of the early day subscribers to the Gunners Corner podcast, so big up for that's pretty much the first thing he said to me. So yeah, big up, Carlisle. I see you. We see you. Thanks for giving us the shout out and saying you appreciate the content and all that. So yeah, man, we'll keep it going for you.
Appreciate it, man. Um, all right, I guess we should get into the content. Well, um, another loss in preseason, losing to Villarreal 3-2. Um, couple talking points that I kind of wrote down. Feel free to jump in. I know CJ, you and I quickly chatted about it prior to recording. Nicolas Pepe, he was scolded when he was at Arsenal because he was the highest transfer that we had paid at that time. And I think he was still a brilliant player. I think just the system didn't suit him. But he scored. Obviously, he would score against us. He scored the first goal. We came back again. We just didn't look lively. Gyökeres, no service. He was making runs. I was watching him, and like he wasn't getting frustrated, but you could see he was trying to make the runs behind the back line, but he just wasn't getting the service, which I don't. We'll get talking about it a little later. But was it because of the system that Arsenal play? Is it because of the personnel? Because again, it was a rotated squad that was playing. Um, we continue to lack a left side. There's nothing coming in from the left side. Um, Funny enough, Noni Madueke, when he came on, even though he missed the penalty, he was a spark. And I think some of those low crosses from the left side, it is easier to do as a left footer rather than a right footer, right? When you're a right footer on the left side, you're kind of lobbing the ball in or trying to get that back post cross. Whereas you're a left footer on the left side, you can drive those balls in, right? You can kind of cause some chaos. And he was doing that. He was very direct, and it was something that we're looking for from Martinelli, right? I joke about it all the time, but Madueke actually had his head up. He was driving at the player, and as soon as he beat the player, he had his head up looking to see where the players were in the box. That's what Martinelli lacks. Um, Again, to CJ's point, was that the right person to buy for 50 mil? Could we have saved that 50 mil to get our true left winger? Sure, I get it. I don't think they fully envisioned Madueke being our left wing solution, but he may do a very good job in the long run. And then the last talking point before I hand it over to you guys, Max Dowman. CJ said it last week, and I'm gonna steal his line. Remember the name because this kid, he like he changed the entire game in a matter of 15 minutes. Even though we didn't win, when he came on, there was a level of threat that you would expect from a Saka, from an Odegaard. Um, that's the level of threat that and chaos that he caused. He's the one who got us the penalty for Odegaard putting it away. That's the creativity that we're dying for, right? We've been talking about Eze, we've been talking about Rodrigo, Rafael Leao, but that's what this team is lacking. We're so structured in our movements that we just need a little bit of chaos. Um, but I think it's a good. I think some of the more senior players need to have their head shaken because this kid is coming. And I know I hinted at it last pod. Martin Odegaard, he is coming. Whether it's Max Dowman or Ethan Wanyeri, your position is very replaceable. Um, yeah, I don't know, CJ. I know you said some of the points you agreed on, and there was some other things you wanted to add. But what were your thoughts on the game? Anything you agree, disagree about?
Mm, yeah, I noted a couple key points to bring to the discussion tonight for you guys. Um, I think the overall like I'll lead with this. Like the overriding premise that I have is that we and Arteta, and again it's mostly Arteta, has a problem on that left side. There's a fundamental problem with Arsenal's left side. We're a very lopsided team at the moment. We everything goes down our right side. Teams know that. It's not that hard to figure out at this point. Um, and we have just genuinely not looked the same since Granit Xhaka's departure. To be honest with you, we've tried Mikel Merino. We brought that in to be that natural left-footed, um, left-sided eight because Xhaka was a left-footed left-sided eight. So we've now tried that in Mikel Merino, who we'll get into individual performances in a bit, but I don't think he's the solution. He never was for me, and he's still not. He's just not it. On that side, we have Declan Rice, obviously, who plays there, and he does relatively well. But with Xhaka, when Xhaka was there, like he just brought overall balance to that left side in terms of, again, when you're in Latin, naturally a left footer, he used to get the ball out wide to Martinelli very quickly, right? Declan Rice naturally is not going to do that. He's going to come infield because he's not left footed. So he's not going to be on leading with his left foot to spray those passes out wide quickly to Martinelli, right? Declan Rice naturally is going to want to come inside more often than not. And Declan Rice is just that brilliant of a player where he can adapt more often than not to any system that he's playing in. But I don't think we're using him correctly either. Like right now, we ask him to overlap pretty much. He's doing a lot of overlapping around Martinelli, and we're finding him on that left wing a lot. Whereas when Xhaka was doing it, it worked because if Xhaka got on the overlap around Martinelli, when Martinelli would want to come inside, and that ball went, out wide to Xhaka once he overlapped, Xhaka would just whip those balls in. Do you remember, Murdan?
Yeah.
Xhaka would whip those low balls into the box. Um, we saw it a couple of times against Chelsea, funny enough, that season where Odegaard got, I think, 2 goals from that side. Xhaka overlapping on the left, whipping a low ball into the box, and then any of our midfielders or anyone running onto it just boom taps it into the bottom corner. We saw that a number of times in Xhaka's last season, where he'd get on the overlap, whip the ball onto his left foot, low and hard into the box, boom, back of the net. We don't get that as much now because, and Declan Rice, like I said, tries to do it, but he again, not naturally being a left footer, it doesn't operate the same. It doesn't work the same. It doesn't function the same. He's more, like I said, gonna want to come on the inside. And so yeah, I just think, ever since Xhaka left, we're not the same team on the left side. It was very much more balanced then than it is now. And right now we just have a problem, whether it's the left eight and the left winger. And I think some of the things that we've discussed over the last couple of weeks is, do we need another creative number eight? Do we need a left winger? Do we need both? Yeah, I'm very much in the camp now. We need both. And our window has been decent, but there's still so much more work to do. We do need that left eight, that proper attacking left eight. You know, and I was talking about balance in terms of Xhaka being a left footer, to suit that left side at number eight position. What Declan Rice lacks, why, because you don't necessarily have to be a left footer to play that left eight position, but what Declan Rice lacks in that position is that, yes, he's not naturally left footer, but also he's not the most creative, right? That's not he's more of a ball carrier.
Yeah.
And he's more of a box to box, his energy, his power. I discussed this last week, and I think it's more important to drive that point home this week, that in that left eight role, when we play teams like a Villarreal or a Spurs or a team where we're gonna have most of the ball, we actually need a more creative player in there, because Declan Rice, as brilliant as he is, he's not going to play those line splitting passes. He's not going to play those Mesut Ozil, as I alluded to last week, those Mesut Ozil type balls in, or David Silva type balls in, just something creative out of nothing, right? Eze will do that, right? And Eze, like games like yesterday and the Spurs game, just show me so much more that we're just crying out for just more creativity in this team, because we don't have enough of it, right? And I hope the midfield that started yesterday at Norgard, and Marino and Wanieri, that's our backup midfield. Let's be honest, because the midfield that we technically would want to start would be Yuri Mendy in the 6, Declan Rice in the 8, Odegaard right 8. Right, that's what we want. But still, like that midfield, still hopefully we'll see more of it, as we go along. But there's just something there that we just need. We need a little bit more creativity from our further attacking midfielders, right? Our left 8 and our right 8. Odegaard needs an Eze alongside him in those type of games where we just have a bit more guile, a bit more creativity to break down low blocks, because all these teams this season are just going to know the formula to play against us. Low block, low block, low block. Can't we, they dare us to break them down, and we can't do it, right? We need more creativity in this side, and horses for courses against the Real Madrids, against the PSGs, right? When the game's going to be a little bit more even and there's going to be a little bit more grit, more fight, more back and forth, that's when I think, like, you see Declan Rice thrive in those type of games. But when we're clearly the superior team and teams are going to sit in the low block, I think, as discussed last week, we need to start with a midfield of an Eze and Odegaard, and then your number 6 can either be Declan Rice or Martin Zubimendi, right? But in those games where we're going to dominate most of the possession and most of the proceedings, I think we need two creative eights. We really do, because it's just becoming more and more apparent that we're just lacking some creativity in this side. Sorry. Eze is just perfect for our system. I really do truly believe that. You saw it yesterday with Gyökeres as well. Is he's going to thrive on service, and if he's not getting the service, I mean, you can have Mbappe up there, you can have the most clinical number 9 up there, but if they're not getting the ball quickly enough, if they're not getting the service, and we're playing slow, lethargic football without any creativity on the pitch, then what good is having the most clinical number 9? So we're gonna have to learn to adapt quickly.
So then, would you? Because the one issue that I can see coming, and the one issue that it pops in my head is, like, if we play a game where, let's just say, in an ideal world, we get an Eze, and that's going to be the midfield, and an Eze, Odegaard, and a Declan Rice. Then you just brought in Zubimendi. Like, how are you going to fit him into the game? And the first thing that goes through my mind is, why don't we play 3 at the back to get more creative players in, right? Play like a Gabriel, Saliba, White, or Timber, and have Zubimendi and Rice sit in front of them, and then just put Odegaard, um, Eze, Saka, Gyökeres, and like Havertz. Because, like, I would want that overload, and I don't think a 4-3-3 does that for us, especially on those low block games. We need to get more
Overload where are you referring to for an overload?
centrally. Like, I want to get that creativity, or like overloaded it centrally. Like, we're trying to do it with our inverted win backs, but teams that have figured out how to play a low block against us, they just ding it over the top of that uh, left back or right back that inverts, and then they're on the counter. A lot of the goals that we gave up, or a lot of the red
Hmm.
cards that we got, was because of that. They invert, they get the ball, they ding it over, like Evan Nielsen and Saliba, right? Or even in the goal that Pape Sarr scored um, against Arsenal in the preseason game. Raya gave a murder ball to
Yeah,
Lewis Skelly. Lewis
yeah.
Skelly lost it, and it was. But even if Lewis Skelly just lost it and Saliba was there behind him, Sarr could have easily just dinked the ball on the wing, and then the winger could have gone and he was on a breakaway, right? So at least if we have a 3-5-2, some iteration of that, and you have a Rice and Zoumeni, in my opinion, like, you'd be fine. You can just put the 5 forwards doing their thing. Rice can kind of go up with them, and then Zubimendi and the 3 center backs chill.
Mm.
Um,
My issue with that is, like, I don't think, I mean, at this late stage into our development, changing our formation almost entirely, I don't think is ideal. Because now, you have in a season where we're expected to kick on, because there's so much pressure, and we're going to talk about it, I'm sure, as the season builds up. So much pressure on Arteta this season, so much, right? So in a season where we're almost expected to win something, and something big, you know, now for him to go and change a whole system to try and get the best out of what he currently has, the players got to get used to that system, when it's probably they've just now gotten used to the current system, because
yeah.
he plays a very complex style as it is already. So for them to now adapt to a new system, I don't think this is the season 2 experiment that way. Personally, I think I don't mind a horses for courses situation. Again, there's nothing wrong with, in the great teams over the years, when you buy 2 players in every position. Look, Liverpool is doing it now, and Ekatike, but they still want Isak, or in Man City's case, Holland, but they still went and got a Marmoush. Like, so in our case, in a midfield scenario, for example, we can't, we're too focused on, oh, but we have so and so in this position, so therefore we can't get this person. Or like, if even if we have Declan Rice, we can still use both Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi. They don't have to play together all the time necessarily. We want to build a squad. We want to build a squad strong enough to compete on all fronts. It's going to be a long season, and which is why I mentioned horses for courses. Declan Rice can almost be a one-man counter attack on his own, just with how mobile he is, how powerful he is. So if Declan Rice plays as a lone six with an Eze and Odegaard in front, that's very balanced in my opinion when you're playing a low block team. Now, like I said, when you're playing a Real Madrid, a Man City, or you're going to Anfield, and you want your Warriors on the pitch all at the same time, yes, you want to have Zubimendi and Rice in there together with your Odegaard. But if you're playing a lower half of the Premier League table team or a low block team, yeah, you can sit either one of Zubimendi or Rice. Probably sit Zubimendi because Rice will give you more balance on the counter attack. Rice is that protector, that anchor in front of the back four, and you let as an Odegaard go play in that freedom of expression, right? That Wenger style football. Just something to think about. And I think if we did sign Eze, that gives us that variation and that option to be able to do so many different things, I think.
Laurent, I want to pose it to you. You've watched enough Arsenal last year, and I think you've caught glimpses of the preseason games. In your opinion, and I think I'm pretty sure I know what CJ's answer to this question is, but do you think it's a system issue that Mikel Arteta needs to adapt or slightly tinker to get the best out of his players, or do you think it's a personnel issue?
Uh, so I mean yeah, that's a good question. Um, on one end, the system has allowed you not to concede. You see what I'm saying? So defensively, that system it's doing pretty well. Okay, so and I think that's one of the most important parts, right? Like, is the defense, right? Because if you score, if you get scored on less, right, it gives you more opportunity, heck, to even score lesser goals to come out, right, and win games. Um, so now for me, I think it's a system issue mostly on the offensive ends, I would say. Um,
Yeah.
because for one, I'm curious, like even let's say you had all those players in last year, right? System and style of play, I think kind of go hand in both because I think at some point is you guys take way too long to build up.
Hmm.
And there are times, right? And bro, this could even be said for like when you face teams lower blocks, right, where they're out of positions and you just can't build up slowly. You have to, you know, get out there, force them to right to backpedal and whatnot. But if you start, trying to get your pieces across the board, right, nice and sure, yeah, it's safe, right? Because essentially what happens when Arsenal plays is you guys are then now on the other end of the team's right of their side of the goal, right? All your players are pushed up forward. You're controlling the possession and all of that. But the movement, right? Like the ball movement now is like it's back, right? We pass it back, right? And now you're looking to try to break them down. Whereas there's times where you should have tried to break them down 20 passes ago, just with one spinning pass. Like you have your winger is making the run, right? Or a guy is looking to beat a guy on, quick, gone. The ball's
Yeah,
moving, kind of thing,
less
right?
less
Yeah,
east west, more north south.
exactly, right. So it's a more direct style of play. Um, but I think too, right? So I mean, you talked about Madueke, so it could be that. Well, do you have players with personalities to even want to, right? Because I think like if you have those kind of players who are, direct, like even like on Chelsea, like Netos or like, wingers that would just look to beat the guy, right? Um, and that can add another layer of dimension, right? Whereas maybe Arteta, yeah, he's, hard-headed and wanting to play like that, but in the game, in the moment, if a player sees the opportunity, now the coach's instructions kind of go out the window, right? Where the player knows, like, yo, this is like, muscle memory at this point. The guys there, I have to beat him. And then now, it's a breakaway. It's like a what, like a 3-on-2, 4-on-2, right? And you're looking to score, right? So, and what I'd be curious in is in terms of like just overall stats is how frequently have you guys been in that position where it's a breakaway, right? Where you guys have like, oh, it's the 4-on-2, right? Uh, Like, would you guys know, or like, do you guys have a
I, would-
sense
I
of that?
would I would say probably not often.
It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Like, because that like for me, I think teams when they're setting up how they're moving, like you should be, like these are things you're trying to draw the team in for you to exploit that, right? And use the pace of your wingers and whatnot, right? Like to create those scenarios, right? Those breakaway scenarios. And if it's not happening frequently, then yeah, I think the system does have a fault somewhere on the offensive.
Mm.
Yeah.
Huh. And then the other question that I want to pose to you, we've been talking about Max Dowman, and I think CJ would agree with me that he's been like how Ethan and Miles Skelly were last season. Ethan's been the shining star of the preseason. Just as an outsider, do you think it's a concern, or do you think it should be like a wake-up call to the quote unquote senior players that a 15-year-old is coming in and playing like a seasoned vet rather than like a youth player? Because
Mm,
I have serious issues with some like again, I'm trying to put it into perspective that it's preseason and yada yada yada. But I have serious issues that a 15-year-old is coming in and doing what I would expect out of an Odegaard, Martinelli. Um,
Even a Saka. Saka hasn't really been great
yeah,
this season.
like I want them to kick on, not a
mm.
15-year-old leading the charge. So what as an outsider, what do you take of that? What do you think of that? What's your like opinions on it?
Yeah, no, so I agree with what you just mentioned there. Because I think just even from like a leadership standpoint, right, you're expecting like the guys, right, that have been there the longest, right, with the most experience to want to, if anything, show Max Dowman, right, like how things should be done. You see what I'm saying? At the club. Um and yeah, like yeah, no, so I do find a bit of concern in that. Hopefully, right, that can be ironed out by the first game. But I mean, on a positive note, right? The positive is that, man, now you guys have this guy, right? This young potential star of a player. And that's something, right, that for you guys to hold on to, just even in terms of investment purposes, right?
Mhm.
And whatnot. But definitely no, like if this is how, let's say, like the season's gonna be, you see what I'm saying? Or like the
Fuck.
beginning, yeah, like this is not what you want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, no, those guys have to step it up, right? Like for sure. Yeah, yeah.
CJ, I don't
Mhm.
know if you saw the rumors, the Rodrigo deal. It looks like it's kind of back on because there's a little bit of pushback from Palace and selling Eze, and it looks like we're trying to um, speak to Madrid and just do like a straight loan with an obligation to buy or like an option to buy. And we would cover Rodrigo's full wages for the period of the loan. Um, Again, I'll pose it to both of you, but CJ, I want to hear from you first, and I kind of feel like I know what your answer is. But Eze seems to be top of our list. Rodrigo is the second alternative, and apparently Anthony Gordon is another alternative. Um, but who's your top? Like who do you want hard stop? Rodrigo, Eze, or Gordon?
I think, to throw another name into the ring that we discussed relatively recently on this podcast, that you didn't just name, Rafael Leao,
Mhm.
because it's becoming more and more apparent to me as as we've been discussing this, and as I've been watching these games, that we're seeing the same. Yes, it's preseason, this, and that, but again, we're seeing the same concerning things that we've been seeing under the manager and with the current crop of players. We've been seeing the same things, even in preseason for the last couple of years. Like the things that we were seeing in season the last 2 or 3 years is what I've been seeing in these last couple of preseason games. Um, in just terms of a lack of invention and like I said, guile and creativity and directness, right? So instead of having all the, you see, we were just talking about Max Dowman, and you posed the question to Laurent about Max Dowman, what he has to offer, and he's looking like the star of preseason in an attacking sense because, well, he's not fully embedded into this system, this Arteta system yet, and I fear for players, like a Dowman or, Ethan, Saka's, these guys who come to the system, they're not yet, engraved into this Arteta system, and the slower build up,
Controlled.
type football, right? Right now, Max Dowman and Ethan Wanyeri is still playing like this as well. They're playing with that freedom of expression, right? They're fearless. They're not afraid to take people on in fear of losing the ball, right? They want to be direct. They want to run at their fullbacks. They want to, and I'm starting to not want to see more of that from Saka. I feel like he did that a lot more when he first burst onto the scene, but you're starting to see Saka like he stands up his man a lot now. He stands him up, stands him up. I don't see him. I We said this about him for a while. We like Saka because he has different attributes. We don't like him because he's the most skillful player in the world, but he's strong. He's good with both feet, and he's got end product, right? But I want to see just a little bit more like creativity. We can no longer say, oh, he's got 2, 3 guys on him. Arjen Robben, Gareth Bale, Mo Salah, Neymar, Lamine Yamal. These players, like if you're world class, you are going to have times where you're going to have 2 or 3 players around you. And you still got to find a way past them, right? Like those players still have no problem dealing with two players at a time, so to speak. Like we can't keep giving him the excuse of, oh, he's got 2 players on him at all times. Like Saka's got to find a way still, and I need him to show more. Like same of what Max Dowman is doing. I need him to kind of show. Max Dowman is showing up some of our forward players at the moment, right?
Mm.
I need Saka and those guys to, have a look at what Dalman and them are doing and look at the penalties that Dalman won for us in these couple preseason games. Direct, fearless, running at fullbacks as soon as you get the ball. Literally, your first touch is leading you on to run at the fullback instead of your first touch being okay, slow. Let me like do a little half shimmy, like that lagging style, that Jack Grealish style of like let me,
Yeah.
no, like just be
Go.
direct, just cause that chaos. So I think in throwing somebody like a Rafael Leao into the mix, that's exactly what he is. Like you never have a moment's rest as a defender, as a fullback when you're marking someone like Leao because he's just constantly, relentlessly on you, like not giving you a moment's peace, right? Um, so again, I just wanted to make sure I answered the question correct, and I have to give a long-winded answer, but it's required because I think we're seeing again Martinelli. How bad was he yesterday? Again, poor, just head down, looking like he doesn't know where he's going and what he's doing. Every time the fullback just nicks the ball off of him, and it's just a lack of invention. Um, and so I think that who do I want? I think ultimately Rodrigo is my first choice because I still just see him being that Alexis Sanchez type player for us in terms of just making something out of nothing. Game is dead. Games look like it's going to a 0-0 stalemate. Boom, out of a sudden, out of nowhere, Rodrigo, beats 2, 3 players, the ball's in the back of the net bottom corner. I see him being that kind of player for us. And maybe even a Leao to a lesser extent. If it's not him, creating the magic to score the goal himself, it's him winning us a penalty late in the game. That helps win us a game because of his
Mhm.
trickery, his pace, you know. But again, that being said, it's like I'm now starting to see that the whole dysfunction of our left side requires us to get not just that left winger, but also that attacking left eight in Eze as well. So still lots to be done, man. Still lots to be done. But if you're putting a gun to my head and asking me to choose one, like it's now becoming so much more apparent to me that we do need both left eight cam and left winger, but I will have to just choose that left eight. Sorry, I will have to just choose that left winger if I have to choose one because I just don't like our current options. I don't like Martinelli just is showing me more and more every game that he's just staying stagnant. He's just going
Yeah.
stale. You know what I
It's
mean? And
sad.
Trossard, it is sad. That guy first burst onto the scene as one of the top wingers, and now it's just he's plateaued completely.
Yeah. What about you, Laurent? As an outsider, who do you think solves the issue for us? An Eze, Rodrigo, Gordon, or a Liao to CJ's point? If you have to pick one, who do you think
On the
solves their issue?
on the left side.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, I'd see immediate Liao from you. If we're talking about like, off the jump as soon as they come to the club, no hesitation, right? It'd be Liao for me. Because yeah, with the Rodrigo situation, like I said, I mentioned this before. Given his dip in confidence, right, overall, that affects some players a lot more than others, and I just don't know, right? It'd be the Premier League for him too in terms of physicality. So I don't know if he'd be able to get up to speed in time that is needed for you guys to have the desired impact from that player, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So Billy out for me.
Can I ask you guys a return question? Because I'm hinting at obviously an issue that we have at our left number 8 midfield position, right? In that 4-3-3, the three in midfield. So we keep identifying the left wing as a problem specifically, but as I've said, I'm starting to slowly see that we have a problem centrally as well in midfield, right? Again, that left number 8 attacking 8 position. Like, what are you guys seeing at the moment that again, this goes to the title of our the episode title, right? System issue or personnel thing. Um, is it actually like a left wing problem alone, or like is the midfield, the left number 8 position, just as much, if not more so, of a priority? Because let's be honest, you can stick a Liao in this team, or you can stick a Rodrigo in this team, but if we don't get the ball quickly enough to them, or if there's not enough creativity from our central midfield players to get them the ball, or you know what I mean, we're still in the same system, mind you. So you can stick any player you want out there, but that left winger is still isolated because why we don't have an overlapping left back because our left back inverts into midfield. And again, our current midfield options are what they are. Whether it's Declan Rice, who's not the most creative, whether it's Mikel Marino, who's just an average footballer in my opinion. Um, Centrally, we still don't. You can stick any left winger out there, but you still have the same problems centrally, right? Like, are we forgetting that? And even this can contribute to other parts of the team. Our center forward, Gyökeres, he's going to need more service from central areas. Laurent, you
Mm,
asked yesterday, what's the issue with Gyökeres? Well, he's not in the game. I said there was a lack of service. That was my response. And you asked from where, the wide areas or where? And I said centrally. It's just as much as wide
mm.
because centrally we don't have enough creativity in there. You see what I mean? So we're acting like maybe just the left wing will be the solution in terms of a personnel upgrade there. But like, do you guys think that central midfield potentially, in terms of a central creative player, is that not just as important as a left winger? Would do you see one was more important than the other?
I think for me, it's like it might be a little contradictory in my answer, but I think it's a system issue because when Zinchenko is in the game, he inverts. However, he does those passes, like those direct passes. Yes, he might not be we've passed um his capacities, and I don't think he's gonna raise the ceiling for us. But I think it starts from the left back. None of our left backs, aside from a Calafiori, want to be direct. Lewis Skelly just wants to get the ball, stay central, go lateral, and keep safe so he holds his position. Whereas even as soon as Zinchenko came on in the last game, he's the one who got the ball to Madueke quickly and sparked that corner where he Madueke beat his man and had a low cross and it was a corner, right? So for me, I think it's a little bit like, is it a system that Arteta's telling Lewis Skelly to play like this, and he's giving more freedom to Calafiori because Calafiori is a little bit older, stronger, bigger, or is it the personnel that Lewis Skelly has been told to be more direct, but he's just trying to play it safe? Like that's the part that I don't know. Um, so I think if we're gonna keep, like for example, Declan Rice, and we're just gonna get a left winger, I think we can still solve the issue, but then we're gonna have to rely on our left back to actually be more direct. So if you're playing a three of Rice, Zubimendi, and Odegaard, that's not a problem. But you need to use Rice to his strength and then get the left back in Lewis Skelly, who is, in my opinion, more creative than a Rice to
Yep,
bomb forward and then get Rice to drop and fill that hole. See what I mean? So like,
yep.
does that come down to a system or is that personnel? That's the part that I'm saying that might be a little contradictory in my answer because I genuinely don't know. I don't know if Arteta's asking Lewis Skelly to play safe and to come in and sit to let Rice go forward because he thinks Rice is stronger and has more capabilities, which I do think Rice is a better ball carrier, like you've said. But Lewis Skelly, I think, is a little bit more. Um, like I hate to say it, but he's a little bit more tiki-taka. Like I can actually see him driving forward and then kind of doing a 1-2 with Martinelli and then getting those low crosses where we saw with Xhaka when he was here, right? So that would be for me. That's why I would say I get your point. I get your point, but I think we have enough creative players in our team right now that if we got a left winger, for me, we can solve it from the midfield rather than getting like an Eze and then we're still stuck with a Martinelli, which again, he's not a bad player, but we can solve that creativity in the middle. Like if we need something super creative and super attacking, you could always bring Saka in the midfield, put Rice at the six, Noni on the right, and then Rodrigo on the left and Gyökeres up top, right? Or you could keep Saka on the right, put Rodrigo on the left, put Gyökeres, and then put Havertz and Odegaard. Because Havertz can cause chaos because he just pops up in random places and the defenders don't know what they're doing. Yes, he may not be your favorite player, but he's shown that he can be a 15 plus goal scorer over 2 seasons. So I think that creativity piece we can figure out, but Arteta just needs to maybe change the assignment of the players that he has access to. Um, I don't know if
Okay.
that answered your
Okay, yeah, no, it does. So
question.
basically, what you're saying, so you think that we can, with a left wing addition, we can still, I guess, create solutions with just that left
Correct.
wing addition. Okay. When Laurent, what do you think?
So I mean, I think I'm gonna have a slight different answer than Murdad because you're right in the sense that also it depends on how you utilize your wingers as well at the end of the day. But
That's the thing.
yeah, that that eight position is key also in the build-up, right? Like, or even just the
Yeah.
overall distribution, like right. So you do need quality players there to be able to carry out certain tasks, right, during the game. And now it seems to me, right, like who's it? Mourinho that was filling in
Marino.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mourinho. And yeah, I don't know, like you mentioned average footballer. Um if you're trying to win a Premier League, a Champions League and whatnot, yeah, I don't think you can afford to have like an average footballer in a position like that, right? Because it can disrupt games, especially in terms of service. Because now you can service your striker, right, with a long ball, even your wingers, depending on the runs they're making, right? Or if the situation requires that I run forward, carry the ball, get past a few men, then look to release the ball. Which is why I'd say, yeah, I think you would be right in saying that that position would need some attention too, right?
Hmm.
Um, because again, it's on the left side as well. So it's almost like it's asymmetric in terms of how you guys are set up, right? One side is truly more dominant than the other.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I don't know, by the way, which side of the fence I sit on it in terms of which one is more important. But to play devil's advocate to what Murdad's point was, um, my thought process is maybe we did choose to, go for the Eze, aka another central attacking midfield player instead of the wide player. Maybe an Eze gets the better of a Martinelli or a Trossard. If we choose to keep their current left wing options, maybe an Eze centrally on the left a attacking midfield position gets more out of a Martinelli or a Trossard in that when as soon as Eze gets on the ball, he's attracting two or three players around him, right? Just by him, him running with the ball, by him beating a man, and maybe that frees up more space for Martinelli because everybody and their mom knows that you shut down Arsenal's right side, you shut down their team essentially because there's so much focus shifted on that right side. If Saka has the ball, Odegaard is getting in and around Saka, so he's got that support, right?
Mm,
Ben White on the overlap, our right back, Ben White getting on the overlap to support Saka. That triangle of Saka, Odegaard, Ben White on the right side causes havoc for teams, right? Saka and Odegaard play so close together, or rather, Odegaard plays so close to Saka. So Saka, more often than not, yes, I say he gets doubled up on, but he does have support and link up
Yep.
that with Odegaard around him and the right back around him, whether it be Ben White or Timber. Whereas anybody who you throw in on that left side, Martinelli, Trossard, they're just so isolated. Like they don't. There's no same support system on our left side that there is on our right side, right? So if we have an Eze essentially in the left attacking eight position who can play closer to a Martinelli, right? just by simply picking up the ball and being able to thread a ball through to Martinelli quicker,
Mm.
or again, because Eze is so skillful and dominant on the ball that he attracts 2 or 3 players around him, then therefore, boom, he can release Martinelli on the left side, right? So somebody who can play closer to Martinelli or Trossard creatively, right? To help with link ups, help with creating those triangles, right? Helping to create with those build ups. I'm just simply wondering that if we chose to ignore the left wing upgrade and get an Eze centrally, will that help bring the best out of our current left wing options as opposed to the other way around? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It's an ongoing thing. I would love for us to get both and upgrade both, but again, we don't. I don't think, and I've said this early on in the window. I told
I
you
don't
guys this,
think
that
we will.
Arsenal will do both. No, they won't do both. So it's a matter of if we had to choose one, which one would be best to get the better out of our team. I don't know what the answer is at the moment, but
I feel like it's the 8. It'd be the Eze, like
Well,
because it just balances it out. Like you know what I'm saying? Where if we're talking about lopsided, well, if you get the top winger,
mhm,
right? Yeah,
it would
you're
be the
strong
same,
on the
right?
left, but you're still dealing with that issue on the left 8.
Isolated left winger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then why
yeah.
don't you? Okay, so here's my counterpoint to that. Why
Mm,
don't you flip the eights rather than have Odegaard play next to Saka and then Rice play next to
mm.
um, Martinelli? Flip it.
Swap it. Yeah, no, I've heard that being suggested. Why we
Why
don't do
not?
that as well? Yeah.
Why not?
And they
When
be
you're in,
comfortable. They be comfortable because I know with Odegaard, it's because it's left foot. You know you want to have a left-footed player on the
on the
right
right
side.
side, yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, you're the captain of the team.
Mm,
Swap the eights. Right? We've seen we they don't do it as much anymore, but when Martinelli was on fire a couple of seasons ago, we saw a lot of the time Saka and Martinelli would swap wings, right? And now maybe swap the eights,
mm.
right? Who knows? Maybe that might be the tune that we need to get out of a left winger, right? Like, who knows?
I totally agree with that because it's almost unfair to our left winger that our only attacking midfielder on the pitch, in Odegaard, plays on the right side, right? So what service is a Martinelli getting on the left or a Trossard getting on the left when our creative number 10 in Odegaard is only sticking to the right side and linking up with only Saka, right? It's so obvious. So that is a solution, I think. Like if again, which speaks back to it would be nice to get a left 8 upgrade as well. Just another creative player out there. But if you can swap it, sometimes where our creative number 10 in Odegaard is playing on Martinelli's side, that could potentially get better, a better service from Martinelli over there. You know what I mean? So I do hear that. That's definitely
I
something.
think what game was that? I think it was either the first game of the preseason or the second game. When one year he was starting, he was popping up on the left side.
Mm,
Right? It if you don't want to swap it, that's not a problem. But in the game, give him the freedom. Be like, you know what? You roam. If you're playing with a Zubamendi and a Rice, roam. Doesn't matter. You don't need to stick to that right side.
yeah.
And I think that's the part that I'm gonna be watching for this year for that development. Um, but either way, if we want to get an Eze, Rodrigo, Liao, Gordon, we need outgoings. We haven't heard of any outgoings. I'm looking at Fabio Vieira, who's been linked with Stuttgart, Reece Nelson with Fulham, Carl Hein. I keep forgetting who he's been linked with, but Zinchenko, AC Milan, Lokonga looks like he might go to Turkey. Like we need outgoings, right? And I would love Berta to get if there's one more incoming, get it done now, and then just focus on outgoings. Because I wouldn't want him to do the reverse. I wouldn't want
Yeah.
him to focus on selling and then leaving like a Rodrigo or Eze for the last week. Do that now. Um, with respect to rumors, an Arsenal target for 2 years. I don't know if you guys saw this. I know CJ, you probably saw this. Benjamin Sesko. He is a Red Devil, and we will be seeing him early. First game of the season against United at Old Trafford. Do you guys think he solves their attacking issues next to Cunha and Buemo and Bruno Fernandez behind them? Or do you think he's going to be another fail like Hoyland, who's headed to AC Milan apparently? spent so much, 90 mil, and he's just being loaned out.
Hmm.
See, my thing is, before Laurent comes in, just wanted to quickly add, and I want to quickly add this in terms of our problem with selling players, because I think that's important I just want to touch on really quickly and give my 2 cents. It's a massive problem. Like, let's not beat around the bush. Like, we're
Mm.
talking about how is Liverpool able to fund Isak and this and that. Like, and Chelsea the same. How have they been able to buy all these players over the years? Guess what? These teams, Liverpool and Chelsea, they sell really well. They sell really well. They're able to get max profit for certain players that probably aren't even worth what they're being sold for. You know what I mean? Yes, Saudi Arabia's come in over the last couple of years and fucked up everything, in my opinion. Like, because the year that Chelsea offloaded a number of players to Saudi Arabia, Koulibaly, I think one or two others that I don't remember off the top of my head right now. The old goalkeeper. Who was the
Kepa.
goalkeeper that? No, before him, African guy,
Mendy.
Mendy.
And the Eduardo
Yes,
Mendy.
yes, yes. These type of players who are being sold, I don't actually know. I don't remember exactly if Mendy did go to Saudi.
He did.
He did. Okay, so a couple players that Chelsea sold in that one window that Saudi Arabia came in and just took these players for big profit. That obviously allows them to go and spend. And Liverpool's done the same, and they're doing the same this offseason. So, they kept their powder dry last year because they only bought in Chiesa, and this summer they're selling a Darwin Núñez, they're selling a Luis Díaz, and that's helping them be able to fund. The likes of a Verts, and now potentially Isak and Ekatike, right? Like that's the side that we're missing. Yes, we need to go and buy all these players. Yes, we are buying all these players, but we don't sell well at all. We're very imbalanced that way. We need to
Hmm.
that's a massive problem, and we need to work on that. We need to fix that because I do understand from the fans' perspective. It's like yes, we need to go buy this is not player, but again, we need to balance it out by selling. If we're not selling, PSR is going to come knocking on our door and saying, "What are you guys doing?" Like, the books are not being balanced. It's not a good look,
Yeah.
right? Like, where are we getting all this funding from? It's not sustainable. We need to be able to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining, and we need to bring in some funds for some of these players. And I do want to see us, move a little bit more quickly when it comes to sales, and get something decent for these players. Now, some of the players that are being touted to leave, um, Vieira, um, Reese Nelson, Lakanga,
Zinchenko.
Zinchenko. Like, we're not gonna profit off of most of those. I don't think. Like, like in terms of what we bought those players for. How will we get our money back, or even more than what we bought them for? No, probably not. And that's
About
something we
50
really we.
mil if we're lucky for all of them combined.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
60. Maybe 60 if we're lucky with add-ons.
And so, well, that's why there's a couple of players that we didn't mention. Like, those are the obvious players. Again, Reese Nelson's, Lakanga, Vieira. Those are the obvious players that need to go. Carl Hein. But if we talk about players like, a Trossard, a Martinelli, even a Jakub Kivior, like those are kind of players that can drive in a little bit more profit. Specifically, Martinelli and the Kivior. And I think if we were to get, if we want to do the business that we still want to do in this window, there may have to be one or two sacrificial lambs. I can guarantee that, well, guarantee is a strong word, but I think that we can, we if we played hardball for Kivior, we can get good money for him because he's shown on the back end of last year that he's a solid center back option. He is. He's even proved guys like me wrong, right? Like, I think we could profit off of that for sure because we only brought him, I think, for under 20 mil. I think we can demand at least 25, maybe a little bit more based on the market for Kivior. If not, he stays, which is fine because he's a good cover. But if somebody came in strong for him, you have to maybe question, selling him because again, we do need the money. I don't want us to come in for some PSR nonsense and then that prevents us from doing further business in the future. And obviously, again, a Martinelli where that would be pure profit because we almost brought him in for nothing. And a winger like him, yes, we talk about him and what he lacks, but he still goes for 40, 50 mil, easy for
Easily.
me,
Easily.
at minimum.
With add-ons, it should hit 60 mil.
Yeah,
Easily. He's still
yeah,
so young.
yeah. So sorry, Bert, to go back on
No,
it,
no,
but I
no, no,
wanted to
no,
touch
no.
on the sales being a big problem for.
I just think like the reason why I always pass the sales quickly is like we're just not good at it. So just like toss the players out there and then see what sticks and what comes back. Like it's frustrating.
Mm, no, very
Um,
much so.
but one team who potentially in the last couple of years has been worse than us is United. The amount of money that they're going to lose on a Hoyland, the amount of money that they lost on um, Jadon Sancho, the amount of money that they're going to
Anthony.
lose on yeah, and an Anthony, on a Casemiro, and now they brought in a Sesko, which I do think he will be a good signing for them. Um, but I think he's going to face the same struggles as a Hoyland, and I think the jersey's going to be too heavy. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not on that, because Hoyland was a good player before he came. And I know I think a couple podcasts ago I was talking about it with Chelsea, right? Like some of the players that go to Chelsea and then they kind of get quote unquote ruined. United has that track record, right? And that's where I kind of worry with Sesko that it's like you're a good player. I don't think you're worth that much money because you haven't really proven it. Is the jersey going to be too heavy? Because Old Trafford, there's weight. Much as we want to say Arsenal, there's weight. Old Trafford, there is weight. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think he was a good signing for United?
Laurent, you want to go in before I give my 2 cents?
Um, so I mean, like even in terms of Hoyland, right? Where he was at before and his level of performance, I don't know too much about that. What I can say though is that, and I believe he came in under other ball guy. Um,
Ten Hag.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to all the baldies out there. But
All the shiny heads.
yeah,
Put your head up in the air, and women just like you don't care.
yeah, no. Yeah. So he came in under Ten Hag, and even like T Ten Hag's spell at United to me it wasn't the best.
Hey, he won
And
trophies.
yeah, no, you could argue that. But I mean, there was another. See, that's the thing. Even Holland, it wasn't in isolation. There was another player, the what's it called, the right winger from Ajax, I believe, the Brazilian.
Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony, who under him as well. Like, and then now he goes to a different club and suddenly, right, he's found his groove and whatnot, right? So, I think with now if we're comparing, well, is Sesko going to suffer the same fate? I think that depends more so on Amarin than the weight of the jersey. You see what I'm saying? Where
Mm.
I feel like if you're under the proper guidance of a good manager and whatnot, right? Sesko obviously, right? Arteta wanted him, right? From what we know, so he must be a player of quality. So if Amarin can get that out of him, um, I think in part, right? So to answer your initial question and the lead up question, which is the obvious one, right? But I think Hoyland, yeah, more so manager for me,
Hmm.
system, and then overall, right, that leads to a loss of confidence, and then the player just loses himself, right? Um, but with Sesko now, I do not think we're going to see where we're going to see the same thing. Yeah,
Okay. CJ?
Me, just quickly. Yeah, Sesko's clearly a good player because there's a number of clubs who are in for him. Um, Obviously, Leipzig was just feeling themselves and demanded crazy money for him, and of course, United is going to go pay that money. Um, but in terms of, let's put it this way, in my opinion, I think a better move for Sesko, the player himself, would have been Newcastle. Personally, I think it would have been better for him to go to Newcastle than Manchester United, simply because there's not as much pressure. You talk about the weight, whatever we want to slice it, there is going to be weight on Sesko going to United, and I think there would have been less pressure at a Newcastle. Um, for the longest time, Sesko, this move has, he strikes me as a type who wants to, building blocks, right? Like he didn't want to come to Arsenal last year because he felt Kai Havertz was going to get in front of his development and this, and that. And then there was rumors about him wanting a release clause. earlier this year if he were to come to Arsenal, because maybe Arsenal was that stepping stone and then he'll make that next move. So if that's the career path he wants to go down, where he's a clear first choice, he wants a stepping stone club and then move on to the next, Newcastle would have been perfect for him, I think. Not as much pressure, blah, 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 blah. Whereas United right now, currently in the mud in terms of their league position, their fans, everyone around them is going to demand, them getting back to some sort of relative success for them this coming season. And Sesko, he's going to be the man that's leading the line to deliver that team some success to get them out of the mud, right? Like, so they're looking at, they've had two failed number nines, relatively fail in terms of Xerxes and Hoyland. Hoyland definitely a fail, and I think I don't really rate him at all. So Sesko, yeah, he's gonna come in and he's gonna now be the guy to get this this massive club in Manchester United out of the mud, who just finished 15th in the league. Two relatively failed recent strikers that they've bought coming in for big money. He's gonna now have to come in and be the guy, and you're not gonna get much time. And the Premier League's unforgiving. Manchester United and their fans are unforgiving. It's gonna be difficult for him, So, but well, yeah, let's see. I don't know. It's gonna be. There's definitely, like I mentioned earlier. I think I said this maybe offline to you guys. The narrative around that Manchester United Arsenal game, in less than 2 weeks' time is gonna be big. And then Gyökeres versus Sesko. It's gonna be something. So,
Yeah.
I will say this. A month ago, us going to Old Trafford looks like, yeah, no problem. United, they're in the mud, this and that. Now all of a sudden on paper, their front three looks pretty decent. Like that looks like we cannot sleep on that game. We still need 3 points. I still expect to demand 3 points because look, we're going for a title this season. So, we need to be winning most games that we play if we're a serious football club. However, that game is not going to be a joke. This is, we're now going up against on paper a front three of Cunha on the left, let's say Sesko down the middle, and Buemo on the right with Bruno Fernandes in behind. That looks a lot better than last year of a Hoyland, Garnacho, let's say, and like I don't know whoever else they would field, Anthony, somebody whack like that. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden that this is going to become a much more difficult game for us.
Just giving a shout out, and I know this is a North London rival, but Heung-min Son ended his career in the Prem. He's in LAFC, started his career in the MLS. Just got to give a shout out to him. He great player. Played for the wrong side of North London. Went out on a high. Went out on a high. He didn't let Daniel Levy hold him by his balls. And now that James Madison is injured, looks like Laurent, your striker, your number 9, Nicholas Jackson, is deciding between Spurs or Newcastle. Comes to the next thing, Newcastle. I don't know what's going on. Like, you would think for a team that has the Champions League prowess and they're, like they have all that money, they would be able to attract top talent, but they can't do anything. They cannot do anything. And the rumors that Arsenal may be linked to Anthony Gordon, and even if Anthony Gordon left and came to an Arsenal, like, it's quite sad. I don't know what's happening there. Isak is apparently told to train on his own, so it's not good right now. Times are not good for the Geordies. And speaking of Diaz, Isak, Nunez sold to Al Hilal. I believe it was like 45 million. They recently sold Luis Díaz for 75 million. And then it looks like the biggest bid ever in the Premier League is coming for Alexander Isak. 120 was rejected. It looks like it's going to be 150 plus, and it looks like it's happening. They got a couple more players that they can sell, but CJ, it's happening.
Should we can we revisit this? Should we be scared, guys? Like, what do we think?
Fuck that. They don't got defense.
They don't have defense.
Fuck that. Bro, they don't have defenders. Konate doesn't want to be there. They sold Joel Kwanzaa. They have Verge.
That's they only have one of the best defenders of the Premier League era of all time in Virgil van Dijk, but
Yes, but like I know injuries can happen to anyone. They were thin last year and they got over the line. This year, I would argue that they are thinner.
in defense.
Yes, they've been pushing for McGahey, but they don't want to pay 50 mil for a player that's got 1 year on his contract. But you don't have any backup. Like if you had a Gerald Kwanzaa, not that I'm scared of a Kwanzaa, but in the event of an injury for 3, 4 games, I think he can do a job. But they don't have anyone. They
I
do
think
not have
Gomez is still
somebody.
there, isn't he?
Who?
Gomez.
Joe Gomez? Yeah, but I think he's recovering from an injury.
Hmm.
And you got Kirkes, who's not a defending left back. You have Frimpong, who is definitely not a defending right back. Like, sure, their attack is going to be scary, but they still don't have defense.
Yeah, no, I think that's the one thing I would say as well. I think to say they don't have defense is harsh because, like I said, they have the best center back. Regardless of what we want to say, Kanate and Virgil are still both going to be there, and they're both two of the best center backs in the league. One is one of the best of all time in the Premier League. Um, So I wouldn't say they don't have defense, but yeah, I mean, like of course I said this last week. I agree. Like their fullbacks specifically, that's the unknown, right? Because you've swapped your consistent fullbacks over the years, of which have been Trent and Robertson. Robinson, sorry, Robertson. You swap that now for two completely new fullbacks in Frimpong and Kirkez, and you don't know what you're going to get from them. You don't know how they are defensively. Frimpong, in particular, is new to the league. So that is definitely an area of unknown, and you feel like that's an area that a team can potentially exploit if you're looking for any
Mhm.
weaknesses in Liverpool's team. So I do take that point. Um, but yeah, Laurent, any change in approach or how you feeling about if Liverpool gets Isak from a Chelsea perspective or from a Leeds perspective in terms of your fear or your concerns?
No, man. Um, like, I don't know. I feel like, man, you go through the Pep era. It's like at this point, you know what I mean? It's like you should come out and play. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Jeez.
yeah, yeah, no, come out and play, man. Like, yo, these guys, as talented as they are, bro, you just show up, like have your game, bro. Like, like route, like truly, I feel like, bro, like you have to firmly believe, like, that you can win, no matter who is on the other end, bro. And man, like you guys are laughing, bro. Yo, what's crazy is I was playing a scrimmage on Wednesday night, right? So last night, and there was one guy, super tall guy, bro. Like, was like tall, strong, right? And then when I started noticing, bro, the guys on my teams are getting all timid and shit, bro, because you see what I'm saying? And then we got to the sidelines, and then now, like, this is the language from one of our players. It's like, oh man, this guy's too strong. You see what I'm saying? Bro, like I heard that I legit turned around, bro. Like Michael Jordan, I took that personally, bro. Like I had to tell him, bro. Like, I'm preaching the guys. Like, bro, never think like that. See what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how tall, strong guy is, bro. You got to make it known that you're there. You see, man, at all times, like, right? Like, that's what you see, even like with defenders. There's some defenders that are short in height, right? They're not the Van Dykes that you're describing, right? The bigs, are right? But yo, these guys, like, like Ashley Cole's, like they're
Carlos
there.
Julio.
Yeah, yeah, bro. It's like it's about like the fight of or the dog in the guy, right? Like that, like so. It's like, nah, man. Like I think each team, right? You come in that season and you need to have that fight about you. And yeah. So to me, not worried at all in the slightest for me
See, I
now.
appreciate I appreciate that. It's one thing to have confidence though, but sometimes the quality may just shine through.
Of course, like of course, yeah, like the yeah, like um. But again, like that's like no excuse to like you come in, you do the job, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like just because you see like when before the that kick up goes right and everyone's on their side of the pitch and you're seeing like bro for all I care you're probably seeing the dollar signs on the pitch. You're seeing the valuation like in your head of how much that team is worth, but you just can't give a fuck. Like, right? Um yeah, you acknowledge like there's talent, but you go in and you're looking to win. Like, and you know that saying, bro, it's 0-0, right? As cliche as it sounds, right? It's 0-0, right? And yeah, no. Because once you do that, bro, that's when what you're trying to see these guys win for the next 4 3 years, like how Pep, you know?
But this is what I mean. Yeah, it would be nice. You
Yeah,
want to think that, but if you're not good enough to stop it, the quality can shine through. You know how there's only so much Burnley can go into that game next season against Liverpool and say, I'm not scared of you. Quality will shine through. Sorry, Burnley, you can be as confident as you want. You're just not good enough.
I see. Yeah, no, like obviously, yeah. There's definitely that. Um, but I think too, what happens is throughout the like as the game progresses as well, right? Is you'll start to see when like the psychology of the game has been lost by a team, right? Because now
Mm.
players aren't tracking back. They're not you like there's a certain level of duties, right?
Hmm.
That a player has to perform in depending on the role. And sometimes when a game is lost mentally, right?
It's
It's like
over. It's
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Because
over.
players just stop doing those things, right? You see what I'm saying? Like now it's like I don't want to like follow, bro. PSG, man, like a guy like Cavascalia running back like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys remember that, right? They're
Yeah.
tracking back, bro. What skill is that? Like, tell me what's the talent apart from just like yeah, maybe you have the pace, but what you see what I'm saying? What is the skill? It's like at that level, players are reaching benchmarks in terms of speed, fitness, and all. They're hitting the box. So now I'm asking you to do that. Guard the guy. Be there. Show him you right. You see what I'm saying? Like and be smart, right? Like if you have
Mm.
to foul, you foul, like. But it's just that. But now I'm asking you to do that for 90 minutes, irrespective of where we are in the game. You see what I'm saying? And it's that. But teams like Man City, when they were dominating, is because eventually, bro, I swear to you, bro, you can tell. Like if they score first, those teams now have already lost because they're like, it's fucking City. You know what I mean? Even their fans, bro. As soon as like it's like it's like no one thinks that they can come back from that, and that impacts how you play, right? So it's like whatever chance you had, or if you even like draw in the game, bro. Now we're not asking you to win, but like even draw the game, right? Now that goes down because
Mm.
you're not doing what's required, right? And you've mentally checked out, right? And yeah, CJ, bro, like when we were doing the drills, you realize, bro, a lot of it is just psychological, right? When your body, everything is tired, bro. And it's like now your mind, you have to use your mind to push you to that next level, right, of performance. And yeah, no. So I think that's where usually they say that hard work beats talent, right? And if you're noticing the Liverpool players, right, maybe they're getting complacent or not, right, bro? Then take it from them. Show him on that day that yeah, you're talented, but I'm willing to work harder, and that's it, right?
Mm.
So yeah.
So, would you agree?
Hmm.
Liverpool, both of you guys, well, I'm sure you would agree. I hear what you're saying, all of that. I
Hmm.
hear what you're saying. But if Liverpool show up on the day and the other team shows up on the day, maybe aside from, let's say, City, Arsenal, and even if Chelsea out their window, like if Arsenal, City, or Chelsea come to play against Liverpool,
Hmm.
those games can be a lot more even than you know than
Of
just
course.
Liverpool being a clear favorite. But
Yeah.
all those other like teams in the league, I think again, if Liverpool more often than not, the bottom line is I think if Liverpool get the Isak they're looking for, right? You got your Isak, now you have Salah, you got Gakpo, you got Katike in midfield, you got Verts, you got McAllister, you got Gravenberch. Like if Liverpool comes to play on a day and the opposition comes to play on the day in the Premier League, more often than not, let's be honest, Liverpool is winning the game. Um, let's be honest.
No,
So
I don't. Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, go on, go on.
and yeah, basically, I just wanted to just get a one word answer from you guys. Like, who is Liverpool the favorites to win the Premier League this season if they get Isak? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. They're wrong.
Mm.
No, Murdat. Wow. Yeah.
Mm.
And where we were factoring because you said like, bro, they don't even have a potential defense now.
Well, they do. They have their regular back
They have their
four.
defense, but I'm just staying on that depth piece. When you
Hmm.
look at like a City, what what they struggled with last year. Yes, the Rodri, but then also they didn't have any defenders when they really popped up with injuries, and the players that they were stuck playing there. Like they were playing Mateus Nunes as a right back, and he's an attacking player, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
And same with us. You lose a Gyökeres, we're fucked. You lose Martin Zubimendi, we're fucked. Like
but like
everybody fit. Who
yeah,
say everyone's fit?
I still don't think that they're the favorites.
Okay, Laurent.
For me personally, I even before Isak, and just based like I said, like the past performance, I would say that they were favorites for me, like even before
Hmm.
that, right? So yeah, now right, it's an attacking boost. So yeah,
Definitely.
I do. So obviously, right, I'm saying they're favorites either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's literally Kevin Durant in Golden State. You're adding the best striker in the league, or one of the best players, if not the best player in the league, to the championship winning team already. You know what I mean? Like, how are they not favorites? Like, Murdad, who's your favorite?
I would say us.
hey,
I'm being serious. I'm
hey,
not.
I like that answer. I like that answer, bro. CJ, why you giving that look, bro? Like,
Murdad, I'll give you a minute to revise your answer.
We are the favorites. If everyone's healthy and we don't have injuries, we are the
I
favorites.
like this.
We spent 30 to 40 minutes talking about Arsenal's deficiencies on the left side. Are you sure?
Yes. Because if you're talking about the scenario that they get an Isak, I'm talking about a scenario that we get either an Eze or a Rodrigo. And yes, we are the favorites. Like I said, last
Mm.
year, that was Klopp's team. And everybody heard what my thoughts were about Mr. Shiny Head. So I don't think why are you guys dying? I don't think that as much as they're gonna have a good squad, I don't think it's gonna be what we saw last year. So I'll say it with my chest again if you like. Arsenal are the favorites.
But okay, so you said that on the premise that we get either Rodrigo or Eze. Right now, what does look likely is that Liverpool get Isak. What doesn't look likely is that we don't get a Rodrigo or an Eze. You know what I mean? So as things stand, like currently, my only stipulation, like say Arsenal's team is as is, and they get Isak. Are we still favorites in your mind?
In my mind, yes.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. If that's what you believe,
In
fair
my
enough.
mind, yes, because it's easier to add in one or two players versus, to your point, two new wing backs. You're changing that midfield dynamic completely, adding Verts, and then how you going to fit in Szoboszlai, how you going to fit in McAllister next to them, how you going to fit a Gravenberch, and then how you're going to fit in Ekitike and an Isak, and then keep Gakpo happy, right? So there's going to be a lot of um, personality management where I do not think that a Arne Slot has that capability because he has never done it. He has never controlled big personalities until he came to Liverpool. I don't care what anybody says. You can say that I just hate Liverpool and I'm saying this. I don't give a fuck. Those great teams, the managers know how to manage big personalities. Now, your counterpoint is, well, Arteta's never done it. I understand, but this iteration of this team, the biggest personality that just entered the door is a Victor Gyökeres. And I think Arteta in the last 4 or 5 years has learned that he needs to adapt to his big players. And you've seen the evolution where Liverpool is, I don't think Arne Slot is going to be given that freedom or that time. And the players that's coming in, he's going to have a lot of personality clashes. He's going to have a Virgil van Dijk who's been there from the start being like, hey, Kirkes, why the fuck aren't you tracking back? Or hey, I'm a Gakpo. Why am I sitting and why are you just playing Ekitike who doesn't even know the Premier League? Why am I being benched over him? And then you got a Salah being like, hey, why am I sitting? And why is Ekitike or Isak playing on the right? And I'm like, why am I sitting? Right? And then you got a Konate who already wants to leave, and then he's got Frimpong Bong being forward. Then like you see what I mean? It's a perfect dynamic for some fuckery to happen because you're not changing one or two players, you're changing four, five, six players. And on top of that, you have the weight of playing after one of your teammates tragically passed away. Yes, they may get up for that for those games. Yes, the first game's going to be completely emotional and there's going to be some, games that are going to be emotional for you for that like Jota passing, but that's going to weigh on them, right?
You
So if
think
you're
so over the
asking
course
me,
of the whole season?
in my opinion, yes.
Mm.
In my opinion, yes. And in my genuine opinion, yeah, I do think it's going to weigh on them. I really do think it's going to weigh on them. I think more so the fact that they got so many different players in, it's going to weigh on them more rather than a. It's bad to say this. Like I think the Jota thing, I think they're going to play for him the entire year, but I think having so many multiple different players, I think that's going to cause more of a shift in dynamics and power behind the scenes. Where
Hmm.
if you're trying to win the Premier League, you want to, like you said, TJ, you gotta hit the ground running. You don't hit the ground running when you have six new players. You hit the ground running when you have the same squad and you fill the gaps that you're missing, which is what Arsenal have done. We got a replacement for Partey. We got a replacement for Jorginho. We got our number nine. The only thing that we're missing is a left wing or, a left eight or like an eight. And even if we don't get it, we've already filled the holes. We were the second best team last year. We're not conceding. As good as Liverpool are, we faced them twice. I'm not worried about the Liverpool games. We can get two draws, 2 points. I'm happy with that. I'm talking about the lower team games, right? I'm talking about those Bournemouth games. I'm talking about those games that we have to win. And those games, 100%, I am more confident that we are going to win those games rather than Liverpool going in and dominating a Chelsea, dominating a City, dominating, a Spurs. Like, no, they're not going to be able to do that. And we don't concede as much as they do. And we got better from a defensive standpoint this year. So again, I'll say it with my chest. Arsenal, even as it stands right now, if Isak is a part of Liverpool, Arsenal, in my opinion, are the favorites.
Hmm. No, I respect it. I respect it. Everyone's got their own opinions. I do respect that. I think you know, for me, Liverpool are the clear favorites. Right now, I don't even see us finishing. I see us finishing third. I guess a little bit of insight into our, what we're gonna do next week,
What?
which is our actual predictions. So I'll try and keep my cards close to my chest because we are gonna do our predictions. But yeah, man.
Wait,
Let's
why
Yeah,
keep it
does
moving.
why does it sound
Hold
like?
on.
Oh, yeah.
Let's tease that for next week.
yeah. We'll save
Let's
that.
tease
We'll
that for
save the
next
actual
week.
prediction.
Okay.
Last
But
little.
you Murdat, sorry, I'm gonna ask you a quick question because I like to call you up on you. That was a great, like, honestly, rebuttal. Everything that you just said, I like it. Like, you were coming with a lot of passion, energy. Like, you had valid points for what you were saying. Um, but your confidence in saying that you think that we will do it, for example, where we will get it done is against the lower teams. I did want to pull you up on that just for 1 second, and that's why I don't think maybe we'll win the league as it stands because of our issues against low blocks. So your
Mhm.
confidence is that we will get it done against those lower teams. But those lower teams are the teams that give us issues because we cannot break down low blocks. Um, so did you consider that when you made that bold statement that
Yes,
we'll get it done against those teams?
because I think this year is going to be one of those years where, because of the pressure that you alluded to about on Arteta, I think this is going to be one of the years that he's going to take a little bit more risk because he's got a Victor Gyökeres, and you're going to see some different um, formations or partnerships being created this year, and there's going to be a little bit more rotation where he learned last year that you just can't play the same 11 week in and week out. You're gonna have to pick and choose. Like I said, I think we teased when we got Noni Madueke, like he can take control of the right side when we have a midweek game against like a top European side, and then we got a weekend game against a Burnley, or we got a midweek game against like a Bournemouth or someone that we have to be respectable against, but also we're going to want to play our stars on that Wednesday Champions League night or Tuesday Champions League side. So you're going to play a Noni Madueke on the right. You're going to play either a Havertz or Gyökeres up top. You're still going to have some different iteration. And I think the style of player that we brought in, even if we don't bring anybody else, the directness and the risk that Arteta is going to play with this year, I think we're going to be able to figure it out. The fact that he starts the games with, a one Yeri and, to your point, our secondary midfield, like I can see some games where, if we're playing Burnley at home, like he goes Odegaard, one Yeri, Rice. and Madueke on the right side, a Havertz up top, and maybe like a Trossard, or if Martinelli stays, like Martinelli on the right? Just to balance it out that if a Yeri is caught up front, you know that Havertz has that work rate. Whereas you're not going to do that with a Gyökeres. As much as Gyökeres may have that work rate, he's better up being in the box. So you're going to maybe play Gyökeres with a Declan Rice sitting behind him, right? So you're going to kind of see those partnerships. So for me, yes, I think we're going to figure it out. Um, and I, as much as I have a lot of negativity, and I think I said it last year that if Arteta doesn't win anything, I want him out. Obviously, there was a context of how many injuries, but I do trust the fact that I've seen him change his style over the last 4 or 5 years, and as new personnel have come in, he has changed his style, and he has got a tune out of the players. Everyone said that Havertz was a terrible signing. You were the first person that said it, and I told you give him a chance, and he scored his 15 goals. You laughed at me when I said 20, and you said, "Oh, I'll be happy with like 5 or 6," and he got 15. And if he didn't get injured, he probably would have got 20 last year, right? So yeah, I'm pretty confident that we'll figure it out. We're too good of a side to not figure it out, and the fact that we have Zubimendi, who is a Partey with a little bit more pace, right? Like I'm confident that we'll figure it out.
Okay.
And like I came with my facts, bro. I'm not just talking shit. I'm not talking shit. I trust
No,
my
no,
team.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Hmm.
Last thing before we move on to our prediction series, which is back. Chelsea, they want Alejandro Garnacho for 50
Yo.
mil. I think they're forgetting that. I don't know if you knew this, Laurent, because I don't know if you keep tabs on your boys, but a certain Levi Colwill torn ACL.
Yeah, I heard about
Done.
that at training.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a blow for us. I'm not gonna lie.
Huge blow, and
Yeah.
it's a big blow to Liverpool's wishes of potentially getting Mark Gahey. Because as much as Liverpool don't want to pay the 50 mil for Mark Gahey, you know who doesn't care to pay 50 mil for Mark Gahey? Todd
Mm-hmm.
motherfucking Bowley.
Yep, yep.
So um yeah, I just wanted to put that in there. Because I don't think Chelsea need a Garnacho. I think now even more so
Yeah,
with
what the
injury.
fuck
I
is
don't
up with
either,
that?
bro. That it's just so unnecessary.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
you guys definitely need a
No,
Mark.
I don't even think like his mentality, bro. Like I don't even want him, like step.
Mandem FC back again.
Oh my gosh,
I
bro.
don't know, like bro, Liverpool. I mean, Chelsea's trying to level up. Like why Garnacho? If you guys already like go for a number of attacking wingers and players in that position. You should have learned your lesson with Sancho. Like, why is Garnacho needed? I don't understand that at all. But I don't know, Laurent. Like, maybe you can give us a little more insight, being on the inside of things. But maybe it sounds like you don't even understand it yourself.
Bro,
Bro, this man
like
has
for
yet to pull out the Chelsea jersey. You think he understands the fucking squad?
hilarious, hilarious. But yeah, no, I think even from like a tactical point of view from him, like because he's a left winger, right?
Mhm.
Um, although I feel like I've seen him play on both sides.
He's played on both sides, but
Yeah,
he's better on the left.
yeah, no. I just can't. I don't see how it makes any sense.
No.
Um, I don't know if he's being used to replace what could be of what's his name?
Sterling?
No, 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 no. The guy who got banned. Why do
Oh,
Mudrick.
Madueke,
yeah, Mudryk. Yeah,
Mudryk?
yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know if that's like what's going on here, but
You're 50 mil?
Listen,
yeah,
man, we bought Madueke for 50 mil, and I don't understand that. So shit.
I think if you guys kept Madueke, it would have solved your issue. You don't even
It's
need
the
to keep
same shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get
like
it, bro.
it's
You
not
might as
a
well have just kept Madueke.
yeah, like it's anyways. See, I'm telling you, CJ, he barely even understands his team. If you're not wearing a jersey, you don't understand the team. You know? Fuck, man. They're fucking got me all fucked up, bro. All right, let's wrap this shit up. So CJ was hinting it. This motherfucker wants half a season where he got 3 points. He wants a fucking like trophy or like some bullshit. So this year, the Gunners Corner prediction series is actually going to be official as of this year because it's going to be a full calendar year. We're going to obviously start it with the Community Shield as Liverpool take on Palace. So here are the rules, Mr. CJ. Listen up. The winner of the full calendar year prediction series will get next year's team jersey funded by the other two hosts. Meaning, if you were to repeat, I don't even think you won last year, but if you were to win this year, you would get the 2026-27 jersey funded by myself and Laurent. Now, in the event that there's a tie, because it can happen, whoever's not involved in the tie will curate a 10-question Premier League trivia from that current season. So it would be the 2025-26 season. And the other two that tied would kind of duel it out. And whoever wins is the winner of that season. So the goal is going to be we're going to predict 3 games per week. And all you have to do is guess a win, a draw, or a loss for those 3 games. One of those games will all obviously be an Arsenal game. One of those games will be a Chelsea game for obvious reasons. And the third game is going to be the game of the weekend. Now, obviously, during the week, we're going to have Champions League games. We're going to try to do 3 contentious games. Obviously, again, one of them is going to be Arsenal. One of them is going to be Chelsea because they're actually sitting with the big boys this year. And the third one is going to be, another big game. So you can get a possible 1 point per guess. So a total of 3 points per week. We'll work on a leaderboard so that we can post on our Instagram on a weekly basis. So y'all can keep track. But CJ, do you understand what the winner gets when they officially win?
Yeah, bro. I can't wait to participate once I get my last season's prize.
Oh.
Until such time, not applicable.
Oh, so you're waiving. So you're waiving your right at getting a point week 1 because it's
brother. I will go not applicable for the whole season and leave it up to you two until I get my prize. I'll say that much.
That's crazy, bro.
It's gonna be easy, bro.
Yeah,
Me and you,
yeah, word.
Do it.
Not much of a.
I will happily spectate and boycott this whole thing if I do not get my just desserts. I'll tell you that for free.
All right. Well,
this is
Laurent. Given that CJ does not want to provide a prediction for the Community Shield, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first for the? Who do you think's gonna win the Community Shield? Liverpool or Palace?
Liverpool.
Liverpool. I unfortunately have to say Liverpool as well. CJ?
Yeah, Liverpool.
Oh, you're participating now.
Yeah, it's a Community Shield, bro. Why not? But I told you, next Sunday is the first game of the season. When we all link up, you guys know my request. I'll leave it at that. You get me?
All right, troops. Fucking chill out, bro.
That's the troops.
All right.
So, this format is a lot easier, eh? From what I'm noticing.
Oh, isn't that convenient?
Anyway, yeah, no.
I swear to yo, drink your water, bro. Drink your fucking water, troops.
Cheers, everyone. Happy Thursday, people.
Drink
your water.
Yeah, but no, it's a lot easier, right? Because it's just Liverpool, and that's it. No need to what's the score, right?
Oh yeah, how convenient.
Yo, chill. You only got 3 right last year.
How many did you get right?
I got 2.
Oh, okay.
Wait, how many did I get?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, because we didn't count the Nations League.
Because you two didn't want to count it. I would have been like, sure, let's count it.
I wanted to count it. What do you mean?
Bro, holy, you guys are some hindsight merchants, bro. Like, why are you going back? What the fuck?
Yo, the irony, bro. Hindsight merchant?
Yes. What are you doing? You're fucking fam. You're like, keep it PG-13. Why are you doing this on the fucking pod, bro? What are you saying?
Yeah, wait, hold on. Isn't this the celebration you were giving us, right?
Yeah,
Before we record. Yeah. Talking about hindsight, right? Like you're trying to tell us yeah. Look back in the past, eh?
yeah, fam. Because if
I'll
you
do
don't get
a
your reward for a prize, what do you want me to do? It's like you got a
look.
speeding ticket and you haven't paid your fine. Of course, until you pay your fine, you're not out the mud, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Laurent, I'm gonna hit him with the Bruno Guimaraes celebration.
Oh my god, dude, so funny.
Uh,
Why are you so salty, bro?
yeah,
That's Murda's famous line, huh?
bro. I'm starting to think, Mur, that that's probably the reason why he's been coming in salty to all these pods, bro. Just it's because of this, like, like the whole time, bro. You know, just desserts, but
Yo, these therapy sessions finally worked.
The top is lonely people. I let my peasants just keep chatting it up down there. You know what I'm saying? The top is a lonely place. God damn.
that's crazy, man. That's crazy. At this point, man, I'm just willing to like, just give the man the meal, just out of like,
Just
I
for
mean,
just
the
so,
game.
yeah, just out of right. You know what I
no,
mean?
no,
Like,
no, no. It's not even that, bro. It's just so I
no,
can stop
I
hearing.
didn't win or anything. You know?
It's just so I can stop hearing this, bro. Like,
Yeah,
because
man.
week in, week out, bro. Fuck, if I'm having to deal this is 1 week. Now, if we're going back to 2 weeks, and this is gonna be every time we get on the pod, right? Like, bro, like I'm gonna lose my shit. So I might as well just,
Yo,
like
Laurent,
get.
you're a competitive guy. Like, do you like to play games and competitions without prizes?
Nah, but what I'm
Oh,
saying is, wait,
okay.
hold on. What I'm saying is everything should be established beforehand, officially. That's what I'm saying.
Oh
Like,
my God.
yeah,
Hindsight merchants.
yeah, like for real, bro. So now, like, it starts for this season. We know,
Mm.
we know
Ah,
exactly what we're playing for.
convenient. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, but bro, last year, bro, like, nah, there
Doesn't
was.
count because you didn't win. I
It's
get it.
not that, bro. It's the fact
Oh,
that
okay.
you added in like some kind of prize towards the end. Like, oh yeah, let's do. I think it's when you noticed that you were up on the leaderboard and then it was ending. Oh, so
Mm,
let me just add in something, real quick.
convenient. Yeah.
Yeah, convenient for you.
Yeah. Don't worry, people. Don't worry. We'll get our just desserts. Trust me. This guy's trying to finesse, bro.
Anyways, on that bombshell, thank you as always for tuning in. We'll be back next week. League table prediction, previewing the games, and we'll see if CJ gets his meal.
Stay tuned, folks.
All right, fellas. Adios.
Like and
Peace.
subscribe.